morning and welcome to Love Every Moment, coming to you today from Glen, New Hampshire. Today's verse is Matthew 5:45. And remember, this comes right off of Love Your Enemies. It says, so that you may be sons of your Father who is in heaven. For he causes his sun to rise on the evil and the good, and sends rain on the righteous and the unrighteous. The first part says, so that you may be sons of your Father who is in heaven. Remember in John 13, it says, by this you will know that you are my disciples if you have love for one another. It's the love that distinguishes Christians from non-Christians. Now, of course, non-Christians will say, well, we have love. Well, that's true. Everyone has human love, but the godly love that Christians have is way beyond that. That's the love that will love even our enemies. I can say this, I don't love my enemies. I don't love those who treat me poorly and persecute me and mock me and do all these bad things to me. I don't have that kind of love, but God has it. When I give up my love, give it to Him, He gives me His love in exchange. What a deal. You can't beat that. That's the only way I could love my enemies, and that's how this whole thing works. Actually, let's look at a cross-reference that says it better than I just did. Let's look at 1 John 3:1. It says, see how great a love the Father has bestowed on us. There's the exchange. That we would be called the children of God, for such we are. So it's when He gives us His love, when we give up ours, He has it all, then He gives us His love. That's what says that we are the children of God. Okay? Continuing in the verse, it says, for this reason the world does not know us, because it did not know Him. So understand that when we get persecuted, when our enemies are hating on us, it may not necessarily because they really hate us. It may be just because they don't know Him and we are representing Him. So try not to take it too personally. Of course, I may be that evil guy anyway, but that's another story. Back to our main verse. The second half of it says, for He causes His sun to rise on the evil and the good, and sends rain on the righteous and the unrighteous. So the things that are needed for life, the sun and the rain, He gives to everyone, Christians and non-Christians. And in the same way, He rains His love on Christians and non-Christians so that they can have spiritual life. He wants us, Christians, to rain that love through Him onto the non-Christians. Let me show you another example, another cross-reference. Wow, you get two this time. That's pretty cool. In Matthew 13, there's the parable of the wheat and the tares. So a master plants a wheat field, and when it starts growing up, the servants notice that there are tares, which are weeds that start to look like wheat. Well, they look like wheat until they grow up, and then you see, oh, they're not wheat, these are weeds, these are tares. And so the servants ask the master, do you want us to rip out those tares? And in Matthew 13:29, it says, no, for while you are gathering up the tares, you may uproot the wheat with them. Allow both to grow together until the harvest, and in the time of the harvest, I will say to the reapers, first gather up the tares, bind them in bundles, burn them, but gather up the wheat into my barn. So the tares are symbolic of non-Christians, the wheat is symbolic of Christians, and the master says, let both grow together. The judgment will happen according to the master's time schedule, not according to ours. We want judgment now. It doesn't work that way. Now, a small note here. Many of us Christians live in sort of a Christian bubble. I remember when I was a younger Christian, we had the Christian yellow pages so that we would only shop at Christian stores. And some Christians only listen to Christian music and see Christian movies and have only Christian friends, and their children only go to Christian schools. And while there's nothing wrong with those things, if we are so removed from the world, how are they going to experience His love? The whole idea is that we are near, growing up like the tares and the wheat, next to non-Christians so they can receive His love. And who knows, maybe some of those tares will become wheat. Because if we love every moment, we're going to love every moment. I'm your average wretch, and I hope you have a great week.